us go through the details with respect to the Sentry and also see how to add Sentry as a service to the existing cluster using Cloudera Manager, as well as configure for clients such as Hive, Impala and Hue. Sentry is a service. It is nothing but a RPC server. It stores the authorization metadata in an underlying relational database, and then it actually provides RPC based interfaces to retrieve and manipulate those privileges from the underlying database. In our case, that underlying database is nothing but a database which is set up on a MySQL server. When it comes to security, we can integrate Sentry with Kerberos. However, Sentry only serves authorization metadata from the database by using RPC. It does not handle actual privilege validation. To enforce privilege validation, we need to configure the services with Sentry, and those services will actually take care of validation by getting this metadata from the database using RPC based interfaces. That being said, let us go ahead and install Sentry using Cloudera Manager, and then we'll actually see how to configure for clients. To add Sentry as a service, we just have to expand this, click on add service, choose Sentry from here, click on continue. We need to have a Sentry server and a gateway. In our case, I'll be using Big Data Server 4 as a Sentry server. We can click on OK. However, to set up Sentry, we need to have a database. And in our case, that database is running on Big Data Server 1. We have a MySQL server running on Big Data Server 1, and we have set up databases for other services. We need to add a database for Sentry also on Big Data Server 1. However, as we are actually configuring Sentry server on Big Data Server 4, we need to establish connectivity between Big Data Server 4 Sentry server and MySQL database that is set up on Big Data Server 1. For that, we need to have a client installed on Big Data Server 4. We will validate in a moment, and then if we have to install, we will install. Otherwise, we will proceed further. Once we configure Sentry server, we can also configure gateway. In our case, I'll be using Big Data Server 1 as gateway. Now we can click on OK, and we can click on continue. It is asking us for the database credentials. However, the database server is running on Big Data Server 1, but we don't have any database with respect to Sentry on this. So let me connect to the gateway node here, on which we already have MySQL. And let us say MySQL-u root-p. To connect to the MySQL server, we can run command called show databases to list the databases. We have several databases, but there is no database which is created for Sentry. So here we can copy the script, which will take care of creating the database user and also grant permissions. So here we have created a database called Sentry. We have created a user called Sentry with password ITversity, and then we have granted permissions on Sentry database to user Sentry. Now we can actually come out of this, and we have to validate that we have MySQL connector on Big Data Server 4 on which we are trying to set up Sentry server. For that, I am connecting to Big Data Server 4 here. Now, as we are connected to Big Data Server 4, we can run command called ls-ltr user share java mysql connector java.jar. If the file is there, then we can directly go ahead and pass the information in Cloudera Manager. However, if this jar file is not there, then we need to install MySQL connector by saying yum-y install if it is CentOS based machine. In our case, it is CentOS based. And then we can say MySQL connector Java. It will take care of setting up MySQL connector on the Big Data Server 4, which will be acting as client for MySQL that is installed on some other remote machine. In our case, MySQL is set up on Big Data Server 1. As we have MySQL connector already on Big Data Server 4, we can actually go ahead and configure Sentry server on Big Data Server 4 by passing the database credentials here. So database name is Sentry, username is Sentry, password is ITversity, and then we can click on test connection. If everything is configured properly, the test connection should be successful, and continue should be highlighted in a moment. Once that is done, we'll click on continue and we'll go to the next step. As test connection is successful, now I can click on continue. It have taken care of setting up this service on our cluster. Now we can click on continue and then say finish. You can see that Sentry is added to our cluster successfully using Cloudera Manager. Now it is time for us to configure clients such as Hive, Impala and Hue to use Sentry for privilege validation. However, Sentry only provide metadata over RPC interfaces. It does not perform the privilege validation by itself. The clients will take care of privilege validation by using the metadata provided by Sentry service. That being said, let us go ahead and configure all the three possible clients in our cluster such as Hive, Impala and Hue with Sentry.